you, Megs, for coming on Pally Talks.
My pleasure.
Can you explain your business in one sentence?
For sure. So we've only just launched Bundle Club, but Bundle Club runs raffles of curated high value prizes. And with the aim of supporting our partner, which is the Baby Loss Club, where we're aiming to fund 1 million free sessions for anyone that's experienced baby loss.
Sessions, therapy sessions.
Yeah, 1 million free therapy sessions. So my co-founder, Emily, and your sister, she sadly experienced the loss of her son, Archie, last year. And one of the things that, quite frankly, saved her, her family, her relationship was the fact that she was able to access free therapy from this amazing place called Wilfred's House. And one of the things that we've realized at the back of it is that, physical health is very easy to get support for. You go to hospital with a broken leg, etc., and you get support. But mental health and free therapy is one of the last things that you can get real support for. So one of the things that we want to do is, very aspirationally, is raise enough money that we can fund 1 million free sessions for anyone that's experienced it.
But that is amazing. You've got to set the bar high.
I know how we're going to do that. We're still working on, but I think lofty aspirations is always the way forward.
Yeah, and also time will tell, and I think you'll be surprised by sort of how much the momentum helps get you there. But I think that's an amazing goal. And secondly, what moment made you realise that you had to be part of Bundle Club?
I love this question because I think sometimes you think there's a moment when you're thinking, I'm going to be part of it. And I've had that before with previous businesses. But in this moment, there was no moment. And quite frankly, it was the power of Emily, my co-founder in this. She phoned me up when I was away and she said, do you want to join me in this business? And I was like, no. Working with friends is really difficult. I haven't, and she was like, I really want to do this thing. And I was like, eventually, yes, this is a great idea. It's a huge purpose with it. And skip a few, I've just suddenly found myself working in this business. Honestly, it's one of the best and happiest co-founder partnerships I've had with someone. And it just wasn't deliberate. It wasn't like one day I woke up and said, let's do this. It was a gradual thing of just working with her gradually into it, having interesting conversations. And here we are now, fully into it, fully co-partnered together, which is the nicest thing about it. It felt like it was meant to be rather than something which was one day I was like, I'm going to do it and we're going to have contracts together. It was like, let's just see how it goes. And here we are.
How long has it been now?
So we properly launched the Bundle Club, I would say, in May. So it's only been a few months. It's a very new kind of company. And then we're working alongside the Baby Loss Club. That we're going to launch properly in January while we're building the insights around how can we build this model that can support it? So we're kind of doing that along the same time. So it's in its infancy, I would say.
I know, but you've done so much already. It's actually May, June, July. 3 months. It is crazy. And can you tell us a bit more about the bundles? I know you've already done some giveaways, but will you tell us sort of what they are, how they work, etc.?
So the bundles are curated items of high value items. They're the kind of things that you and I would want, but we wouldn't necessarily afford or want to spend on ourselves. Our target audience is largely families, working mums, families, grandparents, where everybody would like nice things in their lives, but actually, ultimately, they don't prioritize themselves. They prioritize their kids, their partners. They're looking at buying the basics and not the kind of things you think, yes, I really want that. And Bundle Club, really importantly, is about joy. Our partner is around baby loss, which is obviously around trauma, but we wanted to bring joy back to people's lives. So the moments of happiness, the things that when you win something or think you might win something, we want to be that thing. And we wanted to create more of a lifestyle brand. You see lots of competition websites, and Omaze is very familiar to people where you get incredible houses. But on the flip side of it, you can get these kind of competition websites where the branding's a bit brash and you're not quite sure the things you want to buy. Here we want to curate items that we really know our audience would want. And then most importantly to it as well, we like to have an end-to-end experience with the people that we work with. So we work with boutiques. Our last partnership was with Quinces. It's a boutique run by a really hard-working mum. And we want to make sure that we work with the kind of people that are our audience so we can support them in different ways as well. Our next bundle going live is with Bambi and Rose. Beautiful bags from Morocco, is another hardworking mum. She's got 2 young kids under 2. She works full time. She's the busiest woman ever. And so we really want to work with like-minded people that also have experienced or know people who've experienced baby loss. And that's kind of how we want to make sure that everyone we touch and work with us experiences that kind of joy with us as well.
I saw a really nice, I think it was an Instagram slide, or even the screen showed after buying some bundle tickets, and I actually screenshotted it and sent it to Emily, and it was such nice wording. It was like bringing the joy back to, you'll know what it is, but yeah, I just think everything you've done is just so beautifully put together.
Yeah. I think one of the brand line we have is born from loss, created to give joy, one bundle at a time.
That's it. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Boy, did that take a long time to come to. Hard wordsmithing to make it feel like emotive, but explain what you do. I'm glad you like that.
Yeah, I just sort of, I screenshotted to Emily. I was like, that is so beautifully said. Yeah, I loved that. And what's been your toughest moment so far?
So we're pretty early on the stage of the business. I think one of the things is you kind of expect tough moments when starting a business. Starting a business isn't easy. But I think for me in particular, is possibly the subject matter of it. We built this business to support baby loss. Baby loss is something that affects 1 in 4 people directly. And I'd probably go on saying about 90% of people indirectly. It's a really emotive topic. It is traumatic for lots of people. So I think the hardest thing for me is, how do you build the right balance of creating a business in joy? Your target audience is families who've experienced it. So how do you get the right level of empathy, joy? How do you talk to people about something which means so much and there's so many different ways to different people? That for me is the tricky thing, and the thing that I'm having to navigate as well in talking about this business in the right way, whereby it's really empathetic to those that do it, but also has a lot of, we want to create something that is a meaningful, successful, scalable business.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's really hard because it's a sensitive topic, and something that you're trying to angle as also bringing joy to people as well. So yeah, I know what you mean. I can't even get the words out right, let alone what you're trying to achieve. So yeah, I totally get that. And what's one thing about being a co-founder that no one warned you about?
This is such a good question. I think one of the things that people don't necessarily talk about, being a co-founder, I don't really know what the title co-founder means, but it basically means you have to do everything. So 1 minute you are recruitment, 1 minute you're HR, 1 minute you're sales, marketing, investor, everything. And I think that's one of the things, is that if you think coming into co-founder means driving and running a business, it means you've got to be prepared. Sunday mornings when the website's crashed, you suddenly become the person that's the tech person. You've got to unload boxes and build office chairs. That's also you too. It's not all the glamour of it. It's quite frankly the one that gets shit done.
Yeah. And the I had a conversation with Chloe a couple of weeks ago. I'm hoping the glamorous and the creative and the sort of the bits behind a business that you think you'll be doing do come at a later date. I have a feeling there's loads. I think throughout having a business that's your own, there is these tasks that just stay with you forever, whether it be the tech, the office furniture building, and you just you do it all the time. The glamorous side just isn't as...
It doesn't really. This is my 4th business, and I've yet to find consistent glamour. Hate to burst the bubble. I mean, there are moments, sure. This is pretty glamorous, talking to you, being recorded. Other than that.
I know. And I find it so hard on Instagram and personal branding and stuff in these early stages, because I try and take pictures of like day to day just to show what I'm doing, but I genuinely sit at my desk all day. I can't take a picture of me at my desk all day and expect people to be like, oh, behind the scenes inspiration. Like, it is just
not Anna's office again.
Again. But that's the realistic side of it, is you just have to sit and work and work and work. But yeah, then the glamorous bits that you do once in a blue moon do fill up the gaps, I suppose. But I'm glad you find this glamorous. 5th question: tell us the most unexpected or ridiculous thing that's happened since you launched.
This one was a little bit tougher, if I'm honest. But I think I was trying to think of a really good story of something that went really wrong, because that normally is the fun stuff that people want to hear about. But I think the fun Expected thing for me is the reception that we've had. I've started businesses before in a really disruptive space with a new concept, and honestly, it took us 3 to 4 years for people to actually understand what we were doing. And you say it
Yeah.
to your blue in the face. This is the first time I've worked in a business or had a business whereby people not only rationally understand the business, they emotionally get it. And not only do they emotionally get it, they want to invest their time into it. I've had people from lawyers, copywriters. With the Baby Loss Club, we've already had someone say, I've got 40 therapists lined up that want to help you support with this. And it's coming at a time when we don't have a proposition right now around how we want to do it. But we have people coming to us saying, I work in a business, a major problem we have is around bereavement and how we get people back to work and how we want to make them create work an enticing place to come back to. Can you help us with this if we give you money? Or how do I get my team eligible for free therapy? The corporate. These are all these incredible things that are coming at us that I've never really had that experience of so many interesting and different conversations, all of which are shaping my point of view. I'm used to kind of knocking down the doors of people being like, can I just have 5 minutes of your time? And possibly, can I take you for a coffee? And can I do this? In a way where I'm trying to open the door for myself. But this business has been entirely different in that we're finding people wanting to work with us and wanting to come and help us on the journey. And I think it's all because of the power of the story of Archie and testament to Emily as an incredible mother and co-founder that just helps us want to do that. So it's not a ridiculous story, but hopefully it's a story that sometimes when you're on the right thing, you have the right purpose for the business and you have the right story for it. Sometimes it can be a little bit easier and doors can open in ways that you didn't really expect or imagine would happen.
And I suppose now, are you finding navigating the incoming requests and obviously time management, what's going to come first, what comes, and I suppose the timeline of all the requests, is that sort of the next challenge, is where do they all fit in and how do we respond?
Absolutely. That's the thing that it's knowing as a founder, you need to focus. You can't be doing a million things at once. You need to, I believe personally, other people might have different beliefs of how to run a business, but I believe you have to focus on a couple of priorities or 3 priorities, nail them really well, and then before you move to the next one, because as you know it, so many things can come your way and it can be really distracting, or it can actually be that space where you need to invest in. So finding the right time to kind of learn, experiment and land your proposition is where we're at now. How do we, that's the thing of where do we invest our time into it? And where do we say, actually, not now, we'll do that next year. Or actually we won't. Saying no is the hardest thing, and learning how with Emily together to say, this is where we want to put our energy. This is something for phase 2. And this is something actually we're just going to say no to. And that's not going to be us. That's going to be something else, something we don't do. And I think these are really good skills for co-founders to work together on. You need to be able to have those challenging conversations where you've got so much purpose and passion, but you cannot do everything and do everything well. That is my point of view. Not everyone's, but that's where I want to push us towards.
I've said in various newsletters and things quite a lot about this because I have a tendency to do everything and nothing very well. And I think that's what I'm finding at the moment is because I don't necessarily have a co-founder to discuss these sort of things with, I end up just saying yes to everything and doing everything, and at the moment spreading myself so thin. So I think you're so fortunate to have a co-founder that you can have these like probably quite different points of view, because you might want to do something and Emily might not want to do something, and then you discuss it and you come to an agreement. Whereas that is such a nice thing to have. So then you actually make decisions that are based on both of yours knowledge and experience, and you go down that route together. Whereas as a solo entrepreneur, I just say yes to myself. I'm like, yes, do that. Yeah, you do that
hard,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Yin to the yang. And to be honest,
Yeah.
it's Emily says yes and I say no. Emily's like yes to everything, and I'm like, Ems, what have you agreed to now? This is a great thing. And I'm like, it is a great thing. I was like, but these are the reasons why I think that.
Yeah.
And we normally get to the right place. So I can so see how it's really hard. I think my hat's off to all solo founders and entrepreneurs, because it's very difficult to manage a priorities and a risk log when you've got passion and purpose and you're the engine for the business. So having that, it's a real skill and a real muscle, I think, to kind of learn on your own. At least with 2 people, you can hold each other to account much more easily.
Yeah, I think what you've got is just a brilliant setup. Yeah, I just think 2 heads together is just, I just think because you've got all these incoming requests, you need that back and forth. Otherwise, you're right, you could just get yourself so busy, not really having a direction. So yeah, I think you're doing everything pretty spot on. And the incoming leads as such, they're super exciting for the future of Bundle Club, because I suppose it gives you both the confidence to sort of push on, whereas sometimes when you start a business, it's really like, gosh, is this gonna get anywhere? But because you've got this incoming lead, it's like, wow, the confidence for the growth is super exciting.
It really is, actually. And it just gives you confidence that, because sometimes as a founder, you sometimes think, am I mad? Like, am I doing, is this going to work?
Exactly.
Is this something that's going to pay me? Is this something that's going to pay a team to allow me to have the time to do the things to manage it all? Is this the right bet of where I put my time? Because obviously where you spend your time is really important. So currently the signs, we've got some nice, great bundles lined up. I'm not naive to know you've got to keep working at it to make sure you sustain that pipeline. But for the moment, we're pretty pleased with where it's going. Not to say we definitely want more bundles coming up, because they are the thing that connect us to different parts of our audience. So we want to start branching into experiences, holidays. We want to really start looking towards more of our male audience around how can we provide bundles. Then we also, I think we want to start doing events, so building this community together. But in my own words, first things first, let's get the bundle engine rolling before we look at those things as well.
Yeah, it's incredible though. I'm so proud of what you both are doing and what you've already achieved. And then finally, which I know this is a hard question, but I purposely did 1 year and not 5, because 5 I think is just an impossible answer, an impossible thing to answer. But where do you see the business in 1 year's time?
So this is very much on my radar. I like to sit sometimes in the future and be like, right, if I'm going to do this for 1 year's time, what have I got to do today to make that happen? And I think we need to be having a consistent amount of bundles coming out. We need to be having, 4 a month, if not more. But I think importantly, we want to be a lifestyle brand. We want to take a space in this industry, which is different to everyone else. I want it to feel like an edit. So one of the things we want to start doing is working with brands in an exclusive way, where they create pieces for us, which are not accessible on the market. So working with designers, with magazine edits, with influencers, to create bundles that people can't get anywhere else. I think that for me creates value. It creates something that is truly special, truly joyful for the people that we work with, and for the community that we have with us. And also I'd love to work with us in, the community of people that invest in us. I'd love to kind of create experiences for them that they just couldn't get if they went to, there's all these incredible holiday places they can go to, but I want to have it like the Bundle Club edit of this thing. So that's where I'd love us to get to. And even now, with a couple of bundles we've got some exclusive bags, which are one-off. So let's see how they go. Hopefully they'll go down well. But I would love us to get to that place there where it's really meaningful. And then most importantly, I really hope in a year's time we've funded some free sessions. We will. Yeah. I'm gonna say 1,000.
You will.
So I've got accountability here.
Oh my God, you're saying 1,000 this time next year?
Yeah, 1,000 free sessions.
All right, I'll hold you to that. This 20th of
Thank
August. I think that's so interesting that you're going down the curated. I think that's genius, because if it's something that people can't get anywhere else, then you're just, like you were just saying, you're creating that uniqueness that people will remember you for. So yeah, I will help in any way I can, and hopefully someone listening at some stage will be like, oh, I'll do this with you. So thank you for coming on and chatting through all the questions that I had.
Thank you so much. I've really appreciated this. I'm slightly nervous, but it's been fun.
And glamorous.
And glamorous.